All right. Hello, everyone.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, welcome to this weirdness.
On a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
Is it
Surprise,
Tuesday or Monday?
surprise.
Yeah,
It's Wednesday.
welcome to this weirdness.
It's Tuesday for us.
It's Wednesday. Well, it's Wednesday now.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, we have no one watching. This is amazing.
This is the first time.
just have fun with it. Just have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, if nothing
We'll
else,
get there.
I could always just edit this down to a podcast.
Yeah.
We could just make it a podcast. That's what the
All right,
Venture
well.
Maidens do. We'll get to them, though. All right, welcome, everyone, to the very first episode of Knights of the Tabletop. Woo!
Yay!
This is a concept from our very own Hannah, and is her baby.
Yes, it is.
And it's basically just us again, sitting around just shooting the shit about different things, and just talking about what we like and advice for other GMs, DMs. We'll talk about probably our characters in the ongoing Forever DM No More campaign a bit, and if you guys have any questions about those characters or how we play them, we'll answer those. And it's just going to be about an hour and a half, just killing time, shooting the shit together. So I will let Hannah take it from here.
All right. Well, I guess I will talk for a second about kind of like where this idea came from. Because, you know, it's the first one, so gotta give a decent introduction, I feel. So this idea kind of came from some inspiration from like other online sources that we all know and love. Like I've always been a big fan of the whole concept behind Geek and Sundry's like Talks Machina, and just being able to come, you know, after an event or even before and like talk about what had happened in the stream or talk about things that, you know, you wish had happened and so on and so forth. So I took that attribute and the fact that we're just a bunch of DMs, so we're like an awesome resource, and combined it all together in a big old gumbo and served it up as this garbage with a nice little Hannah's an Arthurian mythology nerd on top. And this is kind of what we got. So I really would like for us to have a variety of guests. I had talked about it briefly on our stream, not this past week, but the week before, about how you can always email us at our email in the description below to let us know if you'd like to like pop on for a session, whether you be another DM or a new player, because I would love to get some new players on here. Mm-hmm. Because we're like a walking, talking, living, breathing DM encyclopedia here. We're like better than the DM guide.
Only because so many of us have a DM guide.
we can talk back to you instead of you having to read the book.
That is true.
Yes, wait, there's a book?
No. No, she's lying to you. All right, I will say the stream is a little bit choppy on my Twitch. My Twitch. I don't know why that is.
I noticed the same thing, to be honest with you.
Got a little bit of lag going on. I'm not really sure why.
Let me double check that.
Yeah, I see that lag too.
Yeah. No, that's not normal. That doesn't usually happen. I don't know why it is tonight. But you can still hear us, at least. And that's really the most important thing, I guess. And you can still see the beautiful overlay.
This is the best overlay I've made. Like,
it is really nice.
I love this overlay.
I'm just going to chalk it up to Twitch being weird, because it does that.
Yeah, and like you said, we could always make this a podcast or something. So, before we get into like the questions that we have for today in particular, first question, I've noticed on our YouTube channel, it looks like the newest campaign hasn't been uploaded.
Yeah. That's entirely my fault.
Did you forget, or is you just not had the time?
Time has been a big factor in that.
If you ever want one of us to do it, just like
I will take you up on that.
Because I already do it with my own channel. Not that big deal.
Yeah, those will get uploaded. Actually, I'll try to get those done during this week. As far as I know, I don't have anything at night the rest of this week, so I should be able to get them taken care of.
And then I hope we can come up with like a crafty title for like this new campaign. Because the first campaign kind of got labeled with the Forever DM campaign thing. Yeah. And so I hope we can get Chris to like come up with like something we could do with the title.
You know, something popped in my head the other day and it sounded really awesome, and hopefully no one steals this if they're watching, but a group called Mace and Stiletto would be awesome.
Okay, that's the campaign.
Mace and Stiletto.
That's the campaign.
We'll have to run that by Chris.
I think that actually fits because we have a lot of characters in the story. We got some strong asses, and then half of them, or more than half of them, I consider to be on the more quirky side.
More what?
Quirky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like we got some interesting personalities.
That is definitely true.
Yes. So, but yeah, that would be awesome to have those up and available soon.
Yes, I will do that.
Yeah. But it also definitely helps since we the players are doing the recaps now. Mm-hmm. I'm not a good note taker during sessions. It's because my brain... Exactly, it's like my brain is like one track.
Yeah.
Especially during D&D, so... That's always a nice resource to have, and that's why I upload them for my own players. Now, do they watch them?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. That's whatever. Okay,
it's fine. This is fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
We hopefully will have Dakota joining us later.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Mm-hmm. I do want to give a shout out to who seems to be viewing us right now. I got my friend Jess. It says that she's here. Regal Stars.
Hi, Jess.
Hello.
Lofew. Then we got Spacey Tori. Didn't she win our giveaway?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it says that she's here. So hello, I know she's one of Amber's friends.
Hello.
And then...
Use Cruz.
Yes, and that is...
Our good friend.
That is my... important person, one of them.
Okay.
So, hello everyone.
Hello.
We'll spill the tea later.
JJ, you could do your own ASMR.
Yeah.
Hello there.
I need one of those directional mics though, because you got to get both the left and the right channel, and I don't have that capability.
Yeah, the binaural one.
Stereo.
Yeah. Hello.
Just drop your voice really, really low, like you're on NPR.
Welcome
to
ASMR.
That's what this is going to turn to. We're just going to read the DM's guide, but we're going to read it in voices like this.
We're going to whisper the whole time.
Actually have it right here. Let's just see.
Today, we are talking about some dumbass questions.
Speaking of which, I got to brag a little. This came in the mail today, so I'm a happy camper. I had the digital copy, and I realized Spacey Tori, who won the copy we gave away, you got the hard copy before I got mine. So
No, I don't think that was who won that. Was that Queen Barrett who won that? Yeah.
Who won the copy? Spacey Tori.
Yeah, we had Spacey Tori and Queen Barrett. Queen Barrett.
Who
I believe.
Did what?
I think Queen Barrett won the monster thing.
Okay.
I believe. Anyway, regardless, we've been stalling long enough.
Let's
get to these questions.
So We got some dumb questions. Is every one of these going to be answering dumb questions? No. So, if you want to be on the show, please email us.
Yeah. masteroftalaris@gmail.com.
Yes, and it is down below in case you want to be able to like typing.
Oh, looks like the stream quality improved.
Outstanding.
Oh,
Awesome.
I'll tell you why. It's because my wife was stealing all the freaking bandwidth
Oh no.
with her Netflix and her books of faces.
Okay,
right,
so
anyway.
Let's get started. Let's do this.
Yeah. Now, Hannah, do you want to be the only one reading the questions?
Yeah, I'll read the questions.
All right, cool.
If I stumble at all, please forgive me. I have adult dyslexia.
It's all good.
It's gonna happen. I mean, I do read
judging.
alouds at work. And it's helped a lot, actually, doing read alouds to kids. Helped a lot. Still struggle, though. Alright, so we're gonna go in order, and if I deem a question stupid, I'm gonna skip it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you if I think a question is dumb.
Alright.
So, we are using a question thing that was on Twitter that was created by the user Organics, and the O is a 0. So I believe that's the Twitter account because this was made for Twitter, and that's who made it. And it like blew up on Twitter like a month ago, and that's when I got this idea. When I saw this going around, I was like, okay, this is what we can use it for. Some of these questions we did kind of answer when it was just Chris JJ and myself, but we're gonna do it again.
Do it.
All right, so first one, if you were a D&D character, yes, you. What race and class do you think that you would be?
Now, I wrote my answers down.
I did most of mine too.
So, JJ, did you?
I did not. I like to shoot from the hip.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
do we want to establish an answering order? I'll go last since I read the questions.
Hobart, you can go first. I'm not picky.
Sure, why not? All right.
Actually, it might be a tough act to follow, but go ahead.
I doubt it. Especially with some of these. Anyway. So, my race, I would choose to be an elf. Only because of their incredibly long lives. And my class would be Bard. Probably the storytelling or writing variety. With a little bit of singing. And if I were in a fantasy world, hopefully I would actually know how to play an instrument. So maybe some music playing mixed in for fun. But yeah, I think it would be really cool to just travel around and share stories with people and live for a really long time and see history made.
Okay. I feel that. I can see that.
Hey, Chris is in the chat. Hi, Chris.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I love my overlay too.
She hates it.
Oh no, I love my overlay.
She did it. I hope she doesn't hate it.
Where's my fake tears? Gotta be Laura Lee.
All right,
Shots
JJ.
fired.
What about you?
I don't want to sound cliche, but I think I would be a Tabaxi rogue, if that doesn't sound familiar to anybody. I think the Tabaxi character is a naturally inquisitive type of thing, and the way they've written it in the was it Volos or what book was the Tabaxi brought out in?
I don't remember.
Anyway, I think the way it's written, they're naturally inquisitive, and they they value knowledge and that type of stuff, which I think is important. But the rogue aspect is, I guess that could be interpreted either way. Being I don't know, being against the law or with the law, either way. I just think it's a great character being a rogue. You don't have to necessarily follow any type of law, but you still have a code, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about that character, anyhow. So and Stitch was actually one of the few characters that I have an emotional attachment to. So that's probably one of my favorite characters I've ever played, and I've actually, I guess, grown into that character, and I enjoyed playing it. So.
Well, we'll definitely be hearing from Stitch again. So
I hope so.
yeah,
I have plans.
Definitely. So do I.
Oh no. Okay.
What about you,
So
Hannah?
I actually feel like I would be just a human. I'm not gonna play myself up or anything, but this is kind of going off of like I grew up with one of the only things that kind of like united my dad and I was Lord of the Rings. And we constantly, like, my dad and I would play like verbal trivia pursuit with each other and quote the movies to each other. And like I was like 6 years old and knew quotes by like Denethor and like all these random characters, that even awful characters. But we always would talk about how we feel our family would come from Rohan and be horse people because of how we're built and what we look like. Everyone in my family is, even with the youngest one being 12, all of us are already over 5'5". The tallest one in the house is 6'7". So we're all very just, we feel like we'd be horse people, and that's where I kind of come into. I feel I would be either a paladin or a polearm fighter. I go paladin first. I'm very attached to that class. I've said many times before, I have countless paladins. Like, my friends know this. I'm like the paladin expert. My friend Jess and I were giggling about that the other night. But I didn't like paladins when I first started playing. I personally am very turned off to like anything that forces you into being religious in some way or shape or form, because I have a very estranged relationship with religion. But the paladin is just, I feel it fits me. I've been told before that if there's one word someone would use to describe me, it would be compassionate, and I feel that fits a paladin very well. So I would say human paladin. Yes, very thought out.
Yeah, that's good.
Or just extra. Who knows?
Could be both.
I feel like this question we kind of all answered when we like got to know each other, but why not put it out there? It's a double,
like a quick recap.
Yeah, it's a double whammy.
Yeah. Oh, we have another person coming in.
Who's here?
Hey! All right. So bear with me here while I get the overlay resituated.
Yes.
Just a moment, everyone. So it's gonna look real weird for a couple minutes.
Oh, and it's gonna be all nice and balanced out with 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Yes. Right, so. Beautiful.
You muted, brother. You muted. There
Whoops. You go. Just in time for the second question, so I'm just gonna continue. Yep. Actually, Dakota.
Yeah.
Would you be able to answer, like, off the top of your head, if you were a D&D character, what race and class you think you would be?
If Dakota Brown was a
yes.
One?
Yes.
I would probably say I would be a half elf, I think. And I think I'd be a bard.
Okay.
Yeah, bard. That's 2 for the bards, huh?
Yeah, that's 2 bards.
But not because I can sing. That's not why. I don't know why. I just feel like bard fits. Hey, can y'all still hear me when I do this?
Yep, now we can.
Okay, cool. I got my other mic going.
Yeah, I had said a human paladin.
Okay.
Yeah, and I went into a long ramble about it. And JJ, they're just being nice.
We've got 2 minutes left in the stream.
Is that real? Oh my gosh! I was like,
That
did
would
I
be
literally
hilarious.
miss all of it?
That would be so fun.
Oh, that's a little
Oh,
bit
shit.
better.
JJ had said he would be a Tabaxi rogue.
What?
Yeah.
So I went back and forth on Rogue.
Okay.
Rogue and Bard.
Yeah. And Hobart, elf bard. So y'all could start a band.
I think by nature I'll also pick Bard, because Bards are storytellers for the most part, and I think that's what the job of a DM is.
Yeah, somewhere along the way. All right, next question. Double whammy. When and how did you first discover Dungeons and Dragons, and when did you start playing?
Okay, the overlay is good, so now I can answer.
Perfect.
I can answer. Yay! Oh, that was like panic adjustments. Good deal. All right. So I had always known about D&D, like from a very early age, but again, as I was saying earlier, I grew up in the Bible Belt, so I wasn't allowed anywhere near it, and I didn't know anybody that played. So I was always interested, but never got into it. And I went through high school and college without playing or really like developing a further interest in it. And then it wasn't until probably 2.5 years ago-ish that I found Critical Role. And I know that's the story with a lot of people, but it is with me as well. I found Critical Role and was hooked immediately, and was like, I gotta do this. I'm almost 30 years old at the time, and I was like, if I don't start trying this now, like I'm never going to. And I figure it's that age where you can, as an adult, just be like, you know what, I'm gonna make my own decisions.
Well, and
suck it, Mom.
This is something. I mean, I'm 25, 24.
God damn it, I'm old.
No, but so that's something that I've realized. Like literally, like I moved to Chicago and I got a big boy job, right? Yeah. And suddenly I can actually invest in my hobbies, and like it's wild, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. And so, like, I decided that it didn't matter. Like, if anybody else played, I didn't care. I would find, like, an online group, or I would go to, like, local game shops. Like, I was willing to drive an hour away to another game shop that I know of that had D&D nights every week. And, like, I had to play. And so I got the DM's guide and the player's handbook, and my wife decided that she would play with me to try it out, because she knew that I really wanted to play. So we started just doing one-on-one sessions, and that was a ton of fun. And I learned, we both learned how to play the game, first of all, and I learned how to DM. And then I had another friend decide that he wanted to play as well. And so we started playing, the three of us. And then I had two more friends jump in. Hey. And so I had 4 for a while, and now I'm back down to 3, because the first buddy of mine that joined in kind of got burned by the time commitment involved. So he fell off the wagon, but we're hoping to have him back at some point. Yeah, and then through that whole time, like, I've stuck with Critical Role, and still watch it, still love it, still a large appreciation for all of those people and this thing that they helped to introduce to my life. And I love it. I'm obsessed.
So one could say that, right? I feel that. Hang on.
No. He left. He's back.
Yeah. All right. So order: Hobart, JJ, Dakota, myself.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead, JJ.
So, like Hobart, I always knew about D&D, but I'm an '80s child. Yes, I'm old. So back then, the '80s, everybody thought like D&D was witchcraft, so nobody ever
Satanic
played it. It
Panic,
was
Yep.
baby.
yeah,
Yep.
it was like it was the devil, so you can't play that. You'll go to hell. Blah
wait.
blah blah.
Is it not?
I could have swore it was.
Am I playing it wrong?
I
I've
guess,
made a
I
few
don't know.
demons.
haven't
So-
we all?
Yeah.
But
Continue.
so I never played it back when I guess the early days. But I actually first got into actually playing probably back in 2012. A buddy of mine said, "Hey, we got a D&D campaign. Are you interested?" I told him I played Warcraft. I was into Lord of the Rings, that type of stuff. So I had never actually played D&D. So I said, let me do some investigation what this is all about. So I started watching Acquisitions Incorporated, like
Yeah.
the early stuff. And I think the one I watched was Chris Perkins, Patrick Rothfuss, who the original, not the original group, because I think Will Wheaton was in there, and that wasn't the first one I watched. But anyway, I just watched those guys and how much fun they had doing it. I'm like, what the hell have I been missing?
Yeah.
So I essentially begged my buddy. I said, look, man, you got to get me in this. I don't care what it takes. So we did a one-on-one session, and I was hooked. I was like, okay, throw me in your goddamn campaign. I don't care what it takes. Put me in. And unfortunately, it was a military environment, so people transferred in and out. So it kind of fell to shit quickly. But the 4 or 5 sessions we played, it was the best time I've ever had in my life, that I could sat down with a group of people who I had no idea who they were and could connect with on that level, with our players. And I remember the last session we actually played, because I actually moved to Germany at the time. And one of the players we had, I think it was the concept is I sacrificed myself to be trapped in a dimension to save somebody else, or something to that effect. But it actually brought tears to her eyes. And I'm like, wow, this game is fucking powerful. And to have that much connection to somebody, somebody you've only met for about, a couple weeks, and to see tears shed over a character, I was like, holy shit. So, and ever since that time, I was just like, it's been nonstop. And the coolest thing I ever had is that I've been married for 18 years now. And I never knew this, but I told my wife a couple years ago, I'm going to play D&D. She's like, oh, I used to play D&D as a teenager. I'm like,
yeah.
holy shit. So when I moved to Germany, I couldn't find a group. And then the 5th edition, started gaining popularity. I bought the books, and I ran my wife, and believe it or not, I feel bad for this kind of, but I ran my wife and my 2 oldest kids through Death House, and they fell in love with it. And so I've been running a campaign with my wife and kids on Curse of Strahd for, holy shit, it's been over a year now. And we're about to obviously roll into Dragon Heist since I got my copy. And I love it. My kids love it. My wife loves it. It brings everybody together. So I love the game.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you like your whole family plays together, because so like I think all 3 of us, and maybe even you, Hannah, I grew up in the Bible Belt, so like I was worshiping Satan if I was playing D&D.
Yep.
But I had a friend who grew up in the environment that you're currently creating for your kids, and that is so cool, because and I didn't realize how cool that was. For my friend, like I didn't see the value in that until now, whenever I'm like into the stuff. But like his family, like they cosplayed together, they played D&D together, they were all into board games, Warhammer, all that shit. So he grew up in it, and we were coming home from a theater like a theater festival. Basically, we performed our show, and we were riding back, and somehow I don't even remember how D&D got put on my radar. I knew about it somehow, and I always knew it was something I wanted to do, but I never really looked around for it, right? I was just like, oh, that sounds cool. It's like a video game. But because I played like Baldur's Gate and all that, all that stuff back in the day. And so anyway, somehow it gets mentioned, and my friend's like, oh, I can run it. And we were like, and he was like, yeah, I can run. I like my family plays together. I've never DM'd, but like, I'll run it for you. And we were like, oh, hell yeah. So it was, like 5 theater kids And we get home and it's like super late, and we drive out to his place. He lived like in the country, on like some acreage or whatever, and we pick up his red box set, and of 3.5, and
The mighty red box.
and we pick up his box, and then we go to our other friend's house, and he had like a little like it was a guest house, but it wasn't. It was a closet, like in his backyard, basically. It was like a broom, like maybe as big as my bedroom, right? And we repurpose a little coffee table in there, and we start playing D&D. And we didn't follow the rules. Like, we were kicking people in the nuts and like
you do,
doing backflips over lizard people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, I was so hooked after that every time we had a theater festival, we did that. Like, we would be like, okay, well, that's on a Saturday. We all know we're not going to church on Sunday, so so we get home late after our theater festivals, and we just play through the night, and then go to sleep. You know, like 5 o'clock rolls around, we go get donuts, eat donuts, put ourselves in a coma, fall asleep, and sleep all day Sunday. And so that was my first time playing, and we sort of did that through high school. And then I went to college, didn't play for a little while, met a guy who ran a game for us. And then that college group that I played with, we still play together now. It's the group that we're sort of like working on because we've all DM'd now. So we're working on like a West Marches style, where we all have like 3 players, or three PCs, and they all live in town, and then we cycle DMs every time we play, or every couple of times we play. And so everybody's running different things going on, and you take a player here, but they have to stay there because that person's still telling that story. So whenever this DM starts, you have to pick from these other 2 that you have. So it like creates like,
it's really interesting.
I actually like that idea.
I'm really excited. We're so
Really
excited to
cool.
start it, and we just it's literally just it's getting people to play, right? It's the first game. It's the first game that is that never happens.
Yep.
And then so Ryan, the co-host on the podcast, we met in college, played all through college, still play together, even though he lives in Kentucky, I live in Chicago. But yeah, I mean, it's that I think what got me was, as a theater kid, when you're not in a show, you want to be in a show. And there's no way to do that except D&D.
Mm-hmm.
Other than being like, okay, well, let's all of our friends, let's go memorize a script and put it up in the park or whatever. But like, that's harder to do than the first game of D&D. So, so yeah, I think that's why I was hooked. And man, I don't know where I'd be without like the whole community. Like, I wouldn't know you guys. I wouldn't have a podcast. I wouldn't know about Critical Role. It's crazy. Like, it's mind-boggling to think of where differently my life would be without having run into this game on a bus home, right? Yeah.
Awesome. I really, really like that whole cycling through PCs, because I come from a background of like LARP and novella role play, where you have to write everything. So like, I'm used to like cycling through characters, and was always like the hard thing for me, was committing to a character. Like with Fee in the current campaign, it was hard to commit to her, especially after Pacifica.
They were polar opposites.
Well, yeah, and I'm the guy who played like Dragon Age, right? Dragon Age Inquisition.
Ooh, we're not going to talk about that.
I make a character, play for 2 hours, start a new character.
Yes.
Play for 2 hours. Because
We're
I
not
how I
going to
feel.
talk about Dragon Age.
Yeah.
That's how I feel in World of Warcraft. You know, you play a character, you get them to
Exactly.
level 20. Okay, let me start another one. This wasn't cool enough. And
Yeah,
next thing you know, you got 30 characters
That's
across
me in
8
D&D.
different realms.
Yep.
Fee, it's still hard to commit to her after Pacifica because Pacifica, she's up here, like on a little statue, and Fee's like down here still.
Okay.
Like Fee's fun to play,
Sure.
but Pacifica, she had a lot more personal meaning to me. So, you know, that goes into attachment. But how I got into D&D, for sake of brevity, my dad played, and I did not grow up in the Bible Belt. I have lived outside of Detroit my entire life.
Hey, Detroit Rock City.
Yeah. Exactly. I grew up listening to Slayer.
Awesome.
And
that's
Anthrax.
amazing. Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
Mainly Slayer.
Yeah.
A lot of Metallica too. Just the big four.
Yeah.
But my dad had been one of those people who played AD&D. Like, he played it as a child and was into it as a child. And so when I was super, super young, I ended up seeing that awful 80s cartoon.
With the kids?
Yes! And when Cavalier was a class.
Yeah!
And when Acrobat was a class.
Fighting Man.
It's like...
Yeah.
It was literally all about, like, I forget the name of the person who, like, was the main producer, but the blonde-haired ranger boy was supposed to be him, and it was literally a show, like, applauding him as a person. It was like a vanity show.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know
Well,
that.
I did research. It was a vanity show. Okay.
I used to wake up every Saturday morning and watch that.
Really?
Did you notice how, like, the blonde ranger was, like, the hero of the group?
Yeah, I was face deep in cornflakes.
Well, it was a vanity project. It was a vanity project. But that's where, like, I learned about it, and eventually I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna do this. Some of you guys might have saw me last night on Twitter posting about my character Cersei.
Yeah.
You should go see it and read my thread bitching and ragging on my own character. It has her art. I mean, the art's still good. Like, I still like how she looks. I would like to revisit her one day. She was fucking broken. But my story with her, I sadly, and I've talked about this before, I sadly was in a situation where I was one of the first players for a first-time DM who hadn't done a lot of research. So they were not prepared. And it was so much so to the point where Cersei, as a fighter, a great weapon fighter, had a point taken from her AC that was given to her by her starting gear and her stats because the DM felt she was impossible to hit. And me, a new player, was kind of just like, okay.
All right.
So, yeah, basically that campaign ended up falling apart because the DM's character, they had a DM character. If Amber is here, then she knows what I'm talking about, but I don't think she is.
Like a DMPC?
Yeah, but they would like filter in and out on occasion.
It was the Ex Machina, right? It was like when you got into trouble, his 20th level paladin would show up and
kinda, except for he wasn't like that, like he was a very soft character that played into any form of motherly or sibling instinct. And basically we get like 10 sessions in or whatever. And it ends up coming out that the shit that these characters are in are all because of him. My character Cersei suddenly just she's super brash
Yeah.
She's very just, I'm gonna beat the shit out of people. The party was broken. She was the only heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Everyone else was a spellcaster or like a druid or something. She was like the only one that could actually get in there, you know? She immediately rallied the party against the DM's character.
Fair.
And almost beat the shit out of him. And her best friend, played by my best friend Amber, got the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah.
And the campaign never reconvened. We broke the campaign. But it was awful. It was so bad. And I like literally, I straight up, I kept telling my friends, I'm like, how can our friend at the time, the DM, not expect there to be a negative backlash?
Yeah.
And then like they chose to drop the campaign because of it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, sweetie, maybe DMing wasn't for you after all.
It's true. It's
so
true.
That's my dramatic first time story and how I started playing. I would like to revisit Cersei, maybe one day.
How long have you been playing, Hannah?
On and off for about 4 years.
Okay.
It kind of depended on like who I was around and who.
Sure.
You know.
Always.
You know,
does.
yeah.
If people ask me, I'm like, I have played for 7 years, but I mean, like, you know. It's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
I played for the first time 7 years ago, and I still play now. But, you know, whatever happened in between.
Yeah, exactly. It's a mess.
Yeah.
All right. Question 3. It is 7:40.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this one. What is your favorite race / class? So you're going to answer all 3. / subclass to play. So all 3.
To play?
Yeah, and same order. So, Hobart.
Well, this is one of those questions where it's going to be real easy to follow up to, because I have played 1 race, 1 class, and 1 subclass.
Can
and
you,
that is
can you
Sturgis.
imagine? Can you imagine?
Just for straight up funsies, I think it would be really fun to play a high level Dragonborn, probably a barbarian.
Okay.
And I would probably go Storm Herald.
Okay.
Cool.
It just sounds so fucking cool to just see like this shiny Dragonborn, just bare-chested with a giant axe.
Yep.
With lightning just coming down. Oh god, I can see it in my head. Yeah. That would be awesome.
JJ.
Well, not to sound like a broken record, but
Swashbuckler rogue.
They're extremely hard to hit.
They're so strong.
I'm telling you, it's just straight up murders people. That whole fancy and the fact that you don't need advantage on attack rolls to get sneak attack. I mean, you just straight up murder people, and it may be slightly OP'd, but come on now. I had fun playing that character, and that swashbuckler is the bomb.
Yep. So I think my favorite race to play is Warlock.
That's not a race.
Class.
I'm sorry.
It's late.
Race though, let's see. Honestly, I usually just go human. That's just me.
At +1, everything helps.
Yeah. I wouldn't consider. I've min-maxed 1 time in my life. And that was a Khajiit monk. Not Khajiit, sorry, Tabaxi monk.
Skyrim?
Yeah. I literally walked into my front door and then logged on to Discord. I'm coming home from work. But Yeah, it was a Tabaxi monk with like 2 levels into divination wizard, so that I could get the portents.
Yeah.
And make them fail their stunning strike. Basically, like it was so broken. By the time I got level 10. But I would say I usually play. I like humans. I like to play warlocks. I usually lean towards the Fae. The Fae pack, and I don't really like the fiendish thing, and I usually go blade lock. What is that? Pact of the Blade. But I've had my eyes on the Zealot Barbarian subclass. I love the flavor of that. I just have to put it together, I think.
The one I'm really interested in, I haven't played yet, is the Broken Oath Paladin. That thing,
yeah.
That one sounds kind of cool. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, we had an Oathbreaker in the campaign before I moved. And and he retook his oath toward the end of the campaign. So it was a cool RP moment.
Interesting.
No.
Okay. For me, I kind of have different versions of this answer. I want to try to be brief. My favorite race, and it depends on if you mean like Die Hard or just like to play it.
Yeah, I think just like to play it.
Just like to play it.
Okay, well then I definitely come into it's like a strict tie between half elves and humans.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't pick. I've never been a massive fan of like all like the extraneous rates that they've come out with. Like I'm not a big fan of Fiza Ganassi, but like I could live without him. You know, like it's no big deal. I have a special place in my heart for tieflings because I used to hate them, but I love them now. So I feel like
my very first character was a tiefling rogue.
You see, and I feel very hipster about it because they were like super popular. But then I made one, and her name is Pleasure, and she's a prostitute, and she has a boyfriend named Magnus.
Oh,
and I
that's
think
really funny.
Magnus's player is still in the chat. Jess, I hope you're here.
Are Pleasure and Desira good friends? I feel like they would be.
If Desira wants to be friends with Pleasure,
I feel like they would be.
Pleasure has a sister named Poetry, so you gotta put up with her. She's very emo.
That's cool.
And then I have a tiefling named Sassy, too.
Are they just
she's
cat
not
names?
A prostitute.
They're just cat names.
I had one named Symphony once. Not mine, but
I love this.
A friend of mine.
Class, I feel like I'm also beating a dead horse when I say paladin. I love paladins. Like I said, I have like 5.
Yeah.
I could name them all. I've had an Oath of Ancients paladin. I've had an Oath of Crown paladin. I've had an Oath of Redemption paladin. And then Joan, Lear, Telethea. Who's the last one? Someone!
What oath do you lean toward?
I definitely like Oath of the Crown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't hate it. Like, it fits the character and it fits the world. And you guys might actually end up meeting that character in my one-shot because she's in my Viking setting.
Cool.
A DMPC that's currently just making sure the party doesn't get executed.
Sure. Fair enough.
It comes in handy.
Yeah! That's what we're dealing with right now. And then... Yeah, I think I lean towards Oath of the Crown. I've actually never played an Oathbreaker. In my opinion, that's kind of like the edgy way out of having to deal with the constraints of a paladin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, they have their oath, and that's like part of who they are.
Right.
I do like when it actually gets played into, though. Like, that's where it's like, okay, that's cool. And then especially if they end up retaking their oath and even becoming like Oath of Redemption at that point.
Yeah.
I do like that. However, it's not often that's how it happens.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's my answer. Next question. This question's stupid. We might skip it.
What's the question before we answer it?
Actually, do we want to answer the question that Chris had just asked?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was it? What's a trope or theme you want to explore in this campaign? So I know he means the current campaign.
Yeah.
So
more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Answer that.
All right. Let's answer it. Let's do it.
Let's see. I love the idea of like a character's past coming back in a meaningful way. And I feel like that's probably going to happen regardless of what we say here.
Yeah.
I just feel like Chris is gonna do that at some point anyway. But that is that's a trope that I love. I don't know. I think it would be a lot of fun just because, again, this is my very first time being a player. I think just like a classic dragon-themed adventure would be a ton of fun. Like, have to make it to the top of the mountain and fight the dragon and get the gold and, whatever.
Everyone needs one.
Yeah, I've never had one. So for me, like, that would be great.
Yeah.
We'll probably die. But, it'd be fun to try. It'd be fun to try.
Fee almost died at level 10.
I know. I was
like,
there.
Who the fuck does that?
Fee does.
Fia Meta does. Oh my goodness. Alright, JJ.
I don't have an answer to that question. I'm not sure. I think it was kind of cool, the fact that, and this is the interesting part about it, is we started out at level 10, and now we kind of have this flashback going on.
Yeah.
So to see it, where we were when we started at level 10 and how we got to that point from where we started, I think it's going to make for some really interesting, some role play. But
yeah,
other than that, I seriously have to consider that one.
I still have to kill a man by punching him in the ass.
If you don't, I'm going to be extremely disappointed.
I got,
it has to
I got seven levels to try.
I know nothing about this backstory, and it's so fun.
So the backstory was he once killed a man by punching him in the ass. In a arena battle, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it?
Now I have to punch people in the ass. I got to steal your thunder. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we already have to deal with the darts.
What you need to do is stop throwing
my knives.
Take them away.
No, it's so much fun.
Okay. Trope. Okay, so I already love okay. How do I word this? I love how close the Feywild is to reality in this world. Like already that's something that interests me about the world.
Yeah.
And I've always liked the idea of like Adventure Time does a good job of that, where like the elemental planes sort of overlap with reality. I super dig that. I want like I love like the idea of the Fae like being like contract, very like lawful, like sort of neutral or something like that, where like your word is your bond sort of situation. I recently read the first book of the Dresden Files.
I'm reading that right now. Oh my god, that's so weird, good, dude.
It's so good. I love. I
started last night, as a matter of fact.
I need to start number 2, but it's incredible. You're in for a ride. Well, then I won't say what I was going to say. Go ahead.
We went offline for a second.
Are we back?
Yeah, I can see us.
I can see us too.
Really weird.
Can you hear me now?
Well, then I won't say what I was going to say. But the way that like interacting with magical creatures in a way that's not always just like killing them by punching them in the ass.
That's magical, by the way. I just
It's
want you to
interesting.
know.
It is
That's
very
magical.
magical. There's magic in that moment. But I'm excited for that. I'm excited for those like RP moments with the tricksters of the planes and stuff like that. It's dope.
So, for me, I guess this is one where I almost want to avoid it, if possible. And it relates specifically back to Fee, because Fee is a bit of a personality.
No.
I actually get socially exhausted after role playing as her. As someone who is like incredibly an introvert. I'm an extroverted introvert,
Yeah.
and
Same.
Fee is just like literally if her news posted through the streets, she'd just be all like, "Oh, they got my bad angle." Like she just wouldn't care. So for her, I actually want to, despite everything I'm saying, I want to avoid the bury your sluts trope. If you've noticed in media, very often if a character dies, she was promiscuous, she was essentially Fee. You know, she was outgoing, she, was comfortable with her sexuality. Like, very, very often that happens.
Yeah.
And I want to, if Fee dies, I really hope it has nothing to do with that.
Right.
Nothing to do with like that trope or that being how she got in the situation. I would prefer that.
Yeah.
If something like, one of the men or women that she done wrong came back and got her for it, that's a little different. That doesn't necessarily have to do with, her addiction. Yeah, I'll say she's a sex addict because she really is. But I would like to avoid that trope.
Yeah.
I don't like that trope. I'm not a
Well,
big fan of it.
No, fuck that trait. Like, fuck
yeah.
that's yeah. No,
Yeah,
Stay
I
woke,
wanna-
friends. Stay woke. Quit slut
Yeah.
shaming. Everybody needs to. You need to respect everybody's sexuality.
Yeah.
Let people fuck who they want. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Anyway.
And then I guess to counter that, I should say something that I do want to happen. And I always love like hints at old characters, like from campaigns in the past. So, it would be cool to see, like Pacifica.
Oh.
As a barmaid. Or something like that. I love that. I love like the overlapping of existences.
Yeah, it's the idea of like the multiverse that's in D&D. Like,
and you see, we actually applied that directly to our past campaign.
Yeah.
We just left off. Oh, pupper. We just left off where the characters had come into inheritance of a tower that allowed them to travel between realms.
Yeah, you did.
Realms or dimension?
Realms.
Okay.
Like they could travel to Earth.
Yeah.
I did that once in a D&D game.
Yeah.
For my bachelor party. I saved my own wedding at my bachelor party. It was so cool.
Nice.
That's pretty great.
Gone. I don't remember the adventure, but I do remember traveling there, fighting some chimera, and then shooing off a dragon at my wedding.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
Anyway, sorry.
All right. Me too.
Me too.
Okay. Next question. The question I want to skip because it's kind of stupid is if you could improve any stat IRL in real life, which would you choose and why? So like D&D stat. I think that's a dumb question. But if we
Charisma.
want to, I would pick the
Yeah.
same thing. All right,
Intelligence.
moving on. In 3 sentences or less, it's kind of hard to do verbally, but it means brief, I guess. No run-ons.
Be brief.
What's your most epic moment from a game? So that can be DM or player.
Okay.
Most epic moment from a game.
Yeah. So far, the most epic thing that's happened in one of my games was actually when my wife and I were still doing our one-on-one sessions. She encountered a group of orcs, which was her most hated enemy, and she had some village guards with her, and the village guards had formed. Or I was supposed to keep this brief, but fuck it, I don't care. The village guards had formed like a line with their spears out, and so she rolled a nat 20 on a dex check to jump over the line of guards, and then as soon as she landed, thunder waved the orcs to spear themselves on the waiting spears of the guards. Killed 3 of them.
That's awesome.
It was pretty great. He's right over there. I was very proud.
Yes. All right, JJ.
So, in one of the first campaigns I played a Warforged named Viagra Steel Shaft, which was awesome. It took me a while to think of that name. It was a little immature, but I loved it. Anyway.
I love D&D.
And actually, this is one of the real parts I love D&D because, I had a DM who never said no to anything. So we were fighting an actual, I think it was a bronze dragon at the time. And they had a ballista. Is that ballista? Is that how you pronounce that? Ballista?
Ballista. Yeah.
Ballista. So I asked him, I said, hey, can I get on that thing? And can somebody else launch me into this dragon? And he's like, sure. So I mounted this ballista bolt, and they shot me into the heart of this dragon.
That's amazing.
And it was basically just, I think it was a dex check after dex check to get to the dragon's heart and actually strangle the dragon's heart to kill it. Most epic moment I've ever had in D&D.
So cool.
That is really
It was
cool.
awesome. It was awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool.
Carl, if you're watching, that was awesome.
Thanks, Carl. What? I don't know. I can't, one does not jump to my mind, which is disappointing, to say the least. I wrote a dragon. I didn't write him. Okay, so before we were we're fighting a dragon, right? It was that whole hey, guys, go kill a dragon. And we were like, okay. So my monk, this is the Tabaxi monk that I was talking about earlier. I put a grappling hook on the end of a rope, as you do. And I roped the dragon, and I hung off of it and punched it when I could and stuff like that. But then I got feared. And I forgot that I can use, there's a monk ability that lets you remove that as an action.
Yeah.
Forgot. Obviously, as you do. And almost died. But that was pretty cool. Riding
Okay.
the dragon. And I got feared, but I was still on the rope. And so we ruled that I couldn't technically move further away because it would damage myself.
Right.
And so I was terrified at the end of a rope on the dragon until I got bucked off and then falling damage. But
You see, that must be a monk thing, because in our level 10 one-shot, Fee got on the dragon
Yep.
and was picking people off the dragon while it was flying.
That was pretty cool.
She was badass.
I remember literally being to the party before we fought that dragon. They were like, okay, well, who needs the dex potion? And I was like, I'm good. Dragonfire can't touch me. I get flamed immediately. But I was in my head, I was like, monk can't touch me. You're not going to touch me with that dragonfire. And then I got
Yeah. So my most epic moment is actually way more tame than like everything everyone else said, because sadly I'm like designated DM
Sure.
with a lot of my, friends. So I don't have a lot of opportunities to be like a player.
Mhm.
And even when I'm playing with my two closest friends, Amber and Jess, that's where I will make a DM PC and we can like play together and have like a trio of characters, because we usually talk about the characters as friends afterwards.
Yeah.
So like we do more. But my most epic moment was with that character Cersei. She had been kicked out of the army, and when she was in the army, she was a cavalry rider,
Mhm.
and she loved horses. Loved horses. Really wanted a horse. Really missed having one. So eventually along the way, they saved some people that Cersei had known from her past, and they were given a horse and a cart. And Cersei immediately volunteered to like walk along at the front of the party and walk with the horse. So I get asked to make an animal handling check. And I was almost crying because I was so like nervous. I was like, what if she fucks up the one thing she wants? This bitch rolls a nat 20 plus 9.
Yeah.
And that was the most amazing moment. It was on roll 20, so everyone saw it. There was no doubt. And I started happy crying. I was like, I can't even believe the only, like, I swear that's the only time I can remember ever getting a nat 20. But it was the one time that counted. And yeah. So that was like that was the first thing I thought of, and it was an important character moment.
Yeah.
That horse loved her. It only listened to her. She never had to like do an animal handling check related to that horse ever again. It was awesome. But yes.
That's dope.
Next question. Have any of your characters died in game? If so, how? And I thankfully get to say no to that.
Nope.
I get to say no too.
I've only had one.
No.
He's still alive.
Mine hasn't died. I've
Oh, wow.
killed a PC before.
Oh,
I haven't
I've
done that
killed
yet.
numerous.
It was
It's
my
quite-
wife's.
Dude, that's horrible.
Oh, shut up.
It was bad too because
You ran your kids through Death House.
Hey, nobody died.
It's because it was a deadly trap. I said a deadly trap because it was incredibly noticeable, right? But I wanted them to be like, "Ooh, this place is trapped." But the way it played out was like, I run in and open the chest, right? And I was like, okay, the trap's gonna go off, and the trap rolled high. And it was an instant kill. That was also what was bad.
Oh wow.
Right? So it wasn't even like, oh, you're knocked out. Someone give him a health potion.
Yeah.
It was just like, done. Splash. Yeah, it was really sad. I felt bad. And she felt bad because it was her first player character.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was very, as everybody's first player character, it's like a reflection of yourself, usually, that kind of thing. So yeah, it was a rough time in the Brown Downs household, but we made it. We made it through.
Pulled through. That's good.
Yeah, pulled through together.
Oh
and
my
rolled up a new
goodness.
character.
Oh my gosh. Next question is, if
We
you
got
could
about 20 more minutes or so, then I have to go.
Yep, we will cut it at 8:30 or whatever.
All right.
Whatever.
Whatever time it is.
As close to 8:30 as we get to the end of
Yeah.
someone answering a question.
Sounds good.
All right. If you could learn any one cantrip in real life, which would you choose and why?
This question.
I have thought about this a lot.
Same.
I would choose mending.
Same.
Yeah, because anywhere in the world you could travel and you would make a good living just going around repairing shit for people. And here's the thing, though. You wouldn't let them know that it was super easy for you. You'd like take whatever it is. Yeah, take it away from them for a couple days. Tinker. You just spend like a day. You'd spend 2 days just dicking around.
Wow,
and then 6 seconds fixing the thing, and then you'd bring it back to them, and it would be immaculate because that's how the spell works. And give it back to them, and be like, "This was a rough job, man, but
I hope you
I got it. I got it fixed for you." And sometimes, if they look, kind of a little more wealthy, you'd get it done a few hours before you say you would, so that you get a good tip.
Yeah.
I worked through the night on this one.
Yeah. Hold an all-nighter for you, buddy, but you're worth it.
You slept 14 hours.
You tell with everyone, you're like Arnold Schwarzenegger in, what is that movie? Schwarzenegger. In Jingle All the Way. You're my number one customer. Everyone.
Yeah, every single person.
All right. JJ.
He's looking at all of his cantrips. You're muted.
I am. I'm looking through my D&D Beyond.
I have my answer.
My initial thought would have been probably Spare the Dying, just for obvious reasons.
Ah, that is a good one.
But then I'm thinking thaumaturgy.
Okay.
I don't know.
Thaumaturgy and prestidigitation would be a lot of fun.
It's close.
Just to mess with people.
Prestidigitation could save you some time, for sure.
Okay.
But I think Spare the Dying for obvious reasons. I would pick that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, if I were to do if I was magically a combatant person, I would pick Toll of the Dead because I love that spell. But for real reasons, for similar reason as Mending, I would pick Guidance because you can cast it on yourself.
Yeah.
And it makes you better.
Yeah, that's true.
At like everything you're doing.
Yeah.
So, if you use it for the right types of things, you could be a lot better than you actually are.
Nope.
Yeah. So, next question.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, even if it's about like last campaign or anything that like asking about the future of the stream or whatever, please ask. It doesn't have to be D&D related either.
Yeah.
So, let me see. Are there any particular stats that you usually take a high or low score in, and why?
Well, once again, I've played one character, but I've made a lot of PCs and then put them in my world as NPCs. So I generally like just for the roleplay aspect, I like a high charisma and strength score because I love the trope of the lovable oaf.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the guy who's not too bright, but he's super funny or charming and really strong and can just get shit done without having to use his brain thinky powers. That's my guy.
All right.
Thinky powers.
Yep.
JJ?
I'm still here. I had to go back to my character sheets. So I'm usually actually pretty low on the Constitution because if you got a high AC, points.
Right.
So, but
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I guess I guess it all depends on the character I'm playing. But normally I'd say it's constant. Well, no, I lied because Babar has a high con. Hell, I don't know. Dexterity, I guess, but that doesn't qualify for a rogue. So I don't know.
You're just well-rounded, man. You're well-rounded.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it would all depend on what I'm playing at the time.
Yeah.
All right.
So I tend to lean I usually pump a couple extra points into charisma. No matter what I'm playing, just because I like to play characters that have a sense of self and aren't like, shut-ins and stuff like that. That's just the way I naturally play a character, and I tend to not fight against that. Unless I'm making 3 characters for a West March. And then as far as ones that I don't usually do, it's usually Constitution. Because I think it says something about me. I like instant gratification, and the fact that the Constitution is only going to like pay off after levels go by.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm good. I'll take Dex. Yeah. Instead of Con. Yeah.
Okay. Before I answer my question, I gotta look at my character sheets real quick. Well, I know the majority of the answer. Of course, D&D Beyond takes about a year to load. Okay, so
No, it doesn't. We love you, D&D Beyond. Please sponsor us.
Please
sponsor us.
Internet. It's our internet.
Yeah,
D&D Beyond,
definitely.
It is.
please come in, take a seat.
So I'm on the contrary to like what a lot of you guys have said, I often make sure I have decent score in con. Like if I have a 14, it usually ends up in Constitution. 12 or 14s usually end up in Constitution for me. Charisma, I play Paladins all the time. Like,
Pump it up.
I usually have like a 19 in Charisma.
Yeah.
So, and then Wisdom, I often make Wisdom pretty high. Which is, just so you know, for my one shot, you're gonna want a decent Wisdom. Just shh.
My Wisdom will be an 8.
Just letting you know, I do a lot of survival.
Haha.
just hint.
Yeah,
This is what you get for showing up.
I'm with Dakota on this one. Since you mentioned it, I'm low on that stat. just to make sure.
I'm gonna do that character that
Please
gets like
do
tons of luck rolls instead.
Oh.
So I'm gonna like take luck. I'm gonna be a halfling. I'm gonna
All right.
Divination.
Yep. Like,
all right.
I'm just gonna be like,
wait until you guys see my character creation guide and how little
boy.
it is.
Oh, there's a guide?
Yes, I wrote a whole guide. It's 7 pages.
Hey,
The hell did I sign up?
nice.
Yeah, but listen, it's for my homebrew though. So like, of course, there's like
awesome.
there's racial limitations and stuff like that because it's a low fantasy based off of actual Norway.
Yeah.
So like, you're not gonna see like a fucking dragonborn running around, if you know what I mean.
But they have the heart of a dragon.
Yes.
Is it like that sort of?
You
like
wish.
I'm a Dovahkiin.
No.
Okay.
Fusroda.
What was y'all's opinion on Dovahkiin?
Don't talk to me.
What's the? Because I hated it.
I don't. When I play Skyrim, I always just fuck around.
Same. But I thought that the Dovahkiin role, like as the hero, cut off.
That.
Like it felt weird to be an Argonian or a Khajiit or an orc, or like it felt like you had to be like a straight
Nord.
Human. Yeah, a Nord or at least a humanoid, like a
Nord,
human.
Imperial, or Breton.
Yeah. It felt weird.
Anyway. But
Sorry.
That was, I gave you guys a hint, but yeah, if you guys want, I can share the creation guide tonight if you want to take a peek at it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I put a lot of work into that shit. Like I cried. I cried doing it because I'm very low motivation because my depression is out of control.
Okay.
You guys didn't sign up for this, but we're friends, so it's the truth. I usually do low intelligence because, like, the fuck am I going to do with this?
I'm not smart enough to play a 20 intelligence wizard. Like, I've never done it. I won't do it because
I'm wise. I can't. Like,
yeah.
I don't know the answers to all the things. I'm not Gandalf. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not Gandalf.
The gray or white?
Both, because both of them. I mean, let's be real. I feel like the gray is much more wise and he becomes the white,
Yeah.
he loses a lot of personality. It's like
Mhm.
his charisma suddenly plummeted.
Yeah.
And he suddenly, like, his charisma was 20 before, but now all of a sudden his charisma's an 8 and his intelligence is 20 now. And it's just like,
Preach. Preach, girl.
I have a Lord of the Rings tattoo. Let's go.
Nail on the head on that one.
Okay. All right. Next question.
Well, do we want to take one from the list, or Use Cruise actually had a good question for us?
I'm not watching that.
It says, are you planning on running multiple campaigns at once on this channel? If not, would you like to stream more days of one campaign? I can answer that. Yes, the eventual plan is to run multiple campaigns on the channel. I would love to get to a point to where we are streaming 7 days a week with different campaigns or one-shot series. This show is kind of our first dive into alternate content that isn't just us playing, but I would definitely like to have more games playing, and not just D&D. I would love to get a vampire game going on this channel. I think that would be amazing.
As in, like,
Monster of the Week.
Vampire the Masquerade.
The Masquerade. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Monster of the Week. I know Chris has been like frothing at the mouth over Microscope, which I know nothing about, but he has been blowing up the Discord feed with that. I would love to hook my wife into running her Call of Cthulhu game on this channel. She wants to start running Call of Cthulhu, and when she gets comfortable enough with that, I would love to, just sync.
Is this the first time she's hearing about this?
No, she's heard me talk about it. She does know. Yeah, she knows.
I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that would be really funny if this was the first time. But no, I've told her that I would love for her to
Awesome.
to run her game online on this channel, because I don't feel there are enough Call of Cthulhu games being streamed.
Mhm.
And I know that one of our own members, DeForest, who hasn't been able to play with us for a while, is wanting to run a Starfinder campaign. And so we're trying to get that off the ground and get that all squared away. And there will be more announcements coming out about that in the future, hopefully very soon. And yeah, I would love to. I would love to get to the point where we can have this game going, and then dive back into the campaign that I was running on a different day, perhaps, as well. But I don't know if that would be a possibility or not. But short answer, yes, we're wanting to bring a lot more content, and this is just kind of our first foray into multiple streaming days.
Yeah, and to follow up with that, if you are interested in joining, you should DM us on Twitter.
Yes.
Or email us down below. Yeah, we do prioritize fellow DMs, but I feel like we all kind of have that silent agreement that if we find someone who's like committed enough and like their schedule works with us, because that's like our biggest problem right now, let's be real, is the scheduling. If your scheduling works with us and like you have the gear that you need, you know, like a okay webcam and a mic that's not, you know, like radio static.
And a stable internet connection.
Yeah, exactly. Enough bandwidth to be able to handle a Discord chat. Then, you know, like email us or message us on Twitter, like any of us.
It's the only reason that I'm even here is because Chris was like, "Hey, we're looking for people," and I was like, "Hi."
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, and it just came from that. Like
Yeah, and we're very happy about that.
Literally, I would love. I've offered it to my friends, but like, there's some issue with like webcam shyness, which I understand.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to brave it,
yeah. If you've never run a game before, but you want to, like, you could not find a better group to run your first game for. Seriously.
And we'll always be available to help you. You know, especially if it's your first time trying, or you want to try and you want to do it with.
Oh
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It can be very scary, but who better to do it with than a ton of people that understand it and have been there. So.
Indeed.
And I think with that, that's actually a good place to end this first session of Knights of the Tabletop. Yeah. So what did you guys think? What did you guys think of this?
I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot.
I
just like talking to you guys, yeah.
I say anytime I get together with you guys, I see your smiling face, get to answer questions about a game. I'm in. Count me in.
Yeah. Yes. I have fun. This is my baby. I feel very passionately about part of it was just trying to get another stream day out there, and if it eventually disappears because we favor doing a game on the day or whatever, that's okay. No tears are going to be shed as long as it gets its chance.
Yeah,
I may cry.
Yeah. I really like being able to get on and shoot the shit with you guys. So
yeah,
and get to know each other,
especially about this game. Like I said,
yes,
I love this shit.
Yes, this game brings people together.
It does, man.
Yes,
and my God, do we need that right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So
let's
real
not get
quick,
political.
let's not.
No, I'm not.
So real quick, let's go around and just let everybody know where they can find all of us individually. And if you have anything you want to plug real quick, feel free. As always, I am Hobart, aka the Friendly Dungeon Master, aka Sturgis, in our Forever DM No More campaign. You can find me on Twitter at the Friendly DM, email masteroftalaris@gmail.com. Here, just on this channel, information is down in the. I almost said doobly-doo, but I feel like that might be copyrighted. Might be copyright infringement. It is down in the doofledger, the description, where to find me. So,
Awesome.
JJ, what about you?
I'm Jeremy, also JJ, also Babar, or Babarus Tiberius Snuffleupagus on our current campaign. You can find me at Remy John on Twitter, and I think that's about it. I try to avoid social media if I can.
Feel that. Actually, no, I don't. Hi, I'm Dakota Brown. You can find me on Twitter at Dakota R. Brown. I have a podcast. We just hit 1,000 downloads today.
Congrats!
Yay!
What? So we've got
nice.
we've got something special.
I'm a religious listener. Me and my friends listen to you guys.
Awesome.
Like, we're world building right now, and I keep being like, I like their approach to it. Let's start with the creation story. My friends are like, okay. Yeah, we have an awesome creation story, and when we were talking about it, I was like, we're gonna follow their skeleton until we pass them, and then I'm gonna do Hannah's shit.
Yep. So we've got a special episode coming out. You can find that podcast on iTunes or at Primordial Pod on Twitter. Come follow us, join the community. We do a lot of audience stuff. So just be on the lookout for that.
Yes, awesome.
Chris is killing me in the chat.
What is Chris doing?
What is he doing?
Spamming.
Yeah.
What is this?
I'm Chris and I'm an asshole.
He's challenging.
Oh, I see what's happening.
All right,
whatever.
All right, Hannah.
So you can find me on Twitter at Sansa Starkkin. If you're gonna come at me and rag on my girl, you might die.
Or at least be blocked.
Everyone tells me that I should have been a lawyer. I will fight for Sansa. Winter is coming. You can also find me on Instagram at Opheliac with an X over the E. So that is OPHXLIAC. I do them commissions. I do them arts. You should check out my very recent Pacifica art on Twitter.
Yeah.
Featuring what's his name? Oh no. I didn't think about this. I got it. Before I get in detail, I gotta say his name. He's No, not. I love Bjorn. But no, I did.
You didn't forget his name, did you?
No, James Gifford for Inktober. He was doing homebrew magical items, and I drew a very, very good full body for the first time of Pacifica in his robes of the waterfall.
Nice.
And it turned out really good, so you should check it out.
Cool.
Y'all should retweet it. I'd appreciate it. I'll cry because I went private on Instagram, so it's kind of slowed down my commission flow. So I'd appreciate it if you guys shared that Pacifica art on Twitter.
Support the arts. Don't be a dick.
What he said.
Just real quick, I'm just throwing this out there because I saw it earlier on Twitter, and it's the kind of thing that drives me crazy. If someone has something listed as pay what you want on DM's Guild, don't pay them a fucking penny. Either take it for free or give them a couple of bucks. Fuck off with that 1 cent nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there. Oh god.
Pay
I
for
got my
art.
goat. I got my goat earlier.
Pay for art.
Yes.
People put a lot of work into their artistic outlets.
Yeah.
Please pay for it.
Yeah.
Right. Support them.
It's your
Show them
friend.
that you appreciate it. I've commissioned my best friend before. She's commissioned me.
We will all die up on this hill.
Hell yeah, dude. I'll fight till the death.
Support
All right.
art.
All right, I have to get going. I got to walk my dogs.
All right.
So thank you all for watching. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us. Send us your questions either via Twitter, email. I love those
Me
glasses.
too.
We all got to get some funky glasses. But yeah, thank you for being here. And I lost track. Those glasses are distracting me.
Remember,
This Sunday.
keep it
This Sunday.
friendly.
No, not yet. This Sunday. At Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will return with an episode of Forever DM No More or whatever
We won't
catchy
cancel this
thing.
time.
No, we will not cancel.
We won't cancel.
Whatever catchy name we come up with. And in the meantime, please remember,
Keep it friendly.
Bye.
Good night.
Oh my goodness.
I've always wanted to say that.